World Bank advises Cameroon to collect more tax from the impoverished Cameroon, Central Africa's second-largest economy, has once again been urged by the World Bank to increase tax collection from its already struggling population to enhance public spending for growth. This recommendation raises concerns, considering the track record of many developing countries, especially African countries, that have relied on financial assistance and economic advice from the Bretton Woods Institutions, BWI. These nations often end up in deeper poverty, instability, and increased dependency. Cameroon has managed to reduce its fiscal deficit from 6.1% to 1.1% of GDP over the past 6 years, primarily by cutting public investment. However, this approach may not lead to sustainable human development. The World Bank's advice aims to improve government investment in critical areas like health and education, which are currently underfunded and plagued by inefficiencies. A significant concern is that in many African countries, tax revenue primarily supports political activities and fuels corruption, leaving the already taxed poor in an even worse situation. Cameroon's tax system is particularly underperforming, with a heavy reliance on value-added tax, VAT, rather than a more diversified tax base that includes international trade, property, and forest taxes. Cameroon's situation is reflective of the broader struggles faced by many African countries. National policies and external advice often fail to consider the already depressed situation of the poor, with tax systems that disproportionately burden the lower-income population. The wealthy, who are often responsible for generating significant wealth within these countries, typically evade taxes or pay less than their fair share, further exacerbating inequality. It is also troubling that African countries continue to rely on loans and economic advice from former colonial powers, perpetuating a cycle of exploitation and underdevelopment. These neo-colonial institutions appear to have little genuine interest in fostering the long-term development of African nations. What are your thoughts on the continued dependency of African countries on these institutions, which seem to prioritize their own interests over the well-being of the populations they claim to help?
Join us at Point to truly understand public perceptions and judgments on unfolding events in Africa. At Point, we highlight both the successes and shortcomings in governance, striving to raise awareness and encourage inclusive participation among Africans for the continent's development. Your voice is unique and essential in the struggle for a transformed Africa. Subscribe to our social media platforms and share our articles within your network. Point, where the Africans in diaspora keep a watchful eye on Africa.